President Muhammadu Buhari's administration has been said to be effectively tackling the security issues in Nigeria. This was stated by the president's spokesperson, Garba Shehu. Over the past few weeks, many Nigerians, including Soyinka and former President Obasanjo, have lamented the security situation with dozens of people killed and kidnapped almost every day by armed men with various intentions. Some Nigerians have said the situation shows that there is a total collapse of the security system and that it is time to restructure the security architecture of this country. Still with us in the studio to discuss this is two very special guests. We have Babashola Adeguyi. He's a political analyst. Thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
And of course, Ugochukwu Ikako. Always a pleasure to have you joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Was this statement necessary? Let me start with you, Shola. Was this statement necessary at this time?
Well, for Garba Shehu, I don't expect him to say anything different. He's a member of the administration of President Buhari. He will say anything to protect his own interest and the interest of his principal. But the truth is, the security of this country is getting worse day by day, hour by hour. Why? Because the president we have is not taking the security of this country seriously. And that's number one. Number two, you have chief of army staff, all these chiefs, who has been part of your government for the past 4 years, who has not successfully won any war against insecurity. And yet, you have no reason why these guys should be changed to bring in someone else to replace them. That's number three. You are using kid gloves to fight insecurity. You are not fighting the way it should be fought. What do I mean by that? The policemen are not well equipped. Those guys who are the vigilante or the local security guys are not being fully supported. Number three, if it does not concern an influential person or a big man in the society, the presidency, the people will not cry out. They will not take it serious. And let me tell you, the insecurity in this country will continue to get worse until the president rises up from his seat and says, yes, it is time for me to fight this insecurity. Sometimes I wonder if this man was actually a major general.
Let me rephrase that question in another way, still on the same statement. Is there something we are missing? Because the spokesperson is saying that they are effectively tackling the situation, whereas in the last week alone, we've had of multiple kidnappings and people being killed. Is there something in this strategy that we're missing that the presidency has exclusive knowledge of that we shouldn't worry about? I don't get it.
First of all, Garba Shehu is a low-budget noisemaker. He shouldn't be taken serious by anybody, all right? And he has nothing of value to say. You should come down to Ondo State and tell Pafasharanti that lost his child, the 90-year-old man, that insecurity is, that Nigeria is the most secure place in the world. You should go down to Bayelsa and tell Samson Siasia that the man was kidnapped back to back and the kidnappers are asking for a 70 million ransom. Should I continue? No, you should travel across the country, leave his office without flying in the jet we have at Abuja.
Oh, you can't say that he does not know what he's talking about.
No, he does not.
Considering that he is supposed to be a spokesman.
He does not know what he's talking
presidency.
about. He's there to just launder the image of the president. You can see, he can say anything he wants to say, all right? See, facts are stubborn, all right? Everybody is free to their opinion. If he's free to have his opinion, have his opinion as a media spokesperson for the president. But the facts are stubborn, and the facts are there that Pafosoranti lost the daughter on the expressway because of this insecurity issue. All the major political bigwigs in Southwest went to his house, from Bola Tinubu to the last person. They all spoke about insecurity, all right? Even Bola Tinubu said that it was destined to happen. Insecurity is not destined to happen. All right, so if the party chiefs, if the people that own the party, that brought him into the party to just do one small job for them, are saying constantly that the country is failing, what's his name? Garba Shehu is no more informed than a Soyinka or a former President Obasanjo that served this country for how many years, all right? President Obasanjo is saying that if we don't fix the insecurity issue in this country is going to turn to Rwanda. And a young man that is in Abuja, that is at best, what he knows is just say things that is not true anywhere. He's saying that this country, nobody is safe here, right? Nobody is safe, right? They just kidnapped something Siasia mother back to back, and they're asking for 70 million naira. This is a guy that has served this country faithfully as a football player, as a former coach on the 23, the national team. And they kidnap his mother. Nobody is doing anything. So the internal security structure of this country is failed. From Bayelsa down to Zamfara. People are dying every day. Last week, Nigeria lost two colonel and some other soldiers somewhere in the northeast because of Boko Haram. How can this guy come out to say this? Their families have lost their loved ones. You see, when they read this in the newspaper, what do you think they feel? All right? If you don't have the answer to the issues, be empathetic. If you don't have anything to say, keep quiet.
Let me interrupt you and be a bit specific, not to overflog the issue, but he did say that the government is on top of the security situation in the country because, to quote him, we have calmed down North Central and Niger Delta. In your opinion, is there any truth in this with what we know as citizens of this country?
They are sitting on the situation, looking into the situation.
This is his words, that we have calmed down North Central and Niger Delta.
North Central and Niger Delta. Well, I will not say yes, I will not say no. Are they the two regions in the whole country?
But that would be a start.
A start? Okay, let me start. Niger Delta is from Bayelsa is in Niger Delta. That's number one. Number two, the Central. For a very long time, we have not even had issues with Central. Maybe about 2 years now, a year ago, the last time was the one in Benue State. But what about the Northeast, which has been hot for a very long time? The Southwest is now increasing. Kidnapping is the situation now in Southwest. If you have calmed down those ones, what are you doing about it? It means that something must have happened. It's either they have migrated from that side to this side, or you have decided to sponsor, to fund those regions in security. You get my point? And forget about the other regions. The truth is this: when you win a war against insecurity in one part, always look out for the other part, because insecurity being won in one part, there is high possibility of the same set of people to move to the. It's just like when we had the armed robbery in Lagos. There was a time we fought the fourth armed robbery in Lagos, and before we knew it, these guys left Lagos, they moved to other states. And that is what insecurity is, a movement. They leave one place to the other. So you should not come out and tell me they have successfully done something in the Central and they have done something in the Niger Delta. If they have done something, the question is, what about other 4 regions that are experiencing this every day now?
Well, there's this statement that seemed to be synonymous with the administration. In the first 4 years, a lot of persons said, well, it's understandable. But this is the second term. This is like the 5th year of this administration. And the statement is that, from Garba Shehu, is that the security situation as it is now, even though in one breath he's saying that there is the insecurity situation is being handled properly, he's saying that the insecurity predated the Buhari's administration. Now the question is, should this statement be present in this second term of this administration, or would that be an unfair judgment on them?
I had to say, I don't know where to start, because like John Maxwell rightly said, leadership is about solving issues, all right? Leadership is about solving problems and the rest of them. When Goodluck was president, let's start from there, right? So I'll answer your question. When Goodluck was there, the theater of conflict and the theater of insecurity issues that we had was in the northeast, all right? It didn't migrate to the North Central. Under Buhari, moved from the northeast to the North Central. We now had northwest. We're talking about the Katsina, the Zamfara. Now we're talking about southwest. All right? How many have I counted? 4. All right. Now we still have the south side. He said south side, right? But Bayelsa is not in south. It's in south side. They just kidnapped Siasa's mom, and they're asking for 70 million naira back to back kidnap. Not just the high profile one, right? We all know about low profile kidnapping and rest of them that happened in this country, but nobody report it because the people are not important, like you said, right? It's only when it happens to the big people, big wig, that we all know. People have been dying on that road every day, right? But because it happened to Pafasoranti, all right, all the political heavyweight in the Southwest have to visit him, all right, including the vice president. So if he is saying that before it was bad. I just mentioned to show you the progression of how things have gone. We've moved from just Boko Haram. We're talking about the pastoral conflict, the Fulani herdsmen. We're talking about banditry. We're talking about the robbery. We're talking about, see, the insecurity issue is porous, all right? See, nobody is safe. That is the truth, all right? Because people can't travel freely. People can't move freely. Let Garba Shehu, can he move from Abuja to Zamfara in the night? He will not try it. So it's not about staying in Abuja where everything is safe and nice and be speaking good English, right, in front of a camera. It does not help anybody, right? Because you know the good thing about it is that he will finish his tenure. If he doesn't get sacked before the next 4 years, they will retire him and look for someone else. He will come and join us on the street, all right? See, all this English that he's speaking now, he's just trying to, it doesn't help anybody. See, I seriously believe that if you work for the president, you have to do things to tell him the truth. Right? And that is the problem with a lot of people that work for the president. They don't say the things as it is, all right? You can't say that President Obasanjo is lying. He was the former president. He has security information that he doesn't have, right? He goes for Federal Executive Council meeting. Professor Soyinka himself is a noble, right? He has information across the world. So if these men are coming out to say, these are the men that supported Buhari in 2015, some of them say supported him in 2019, they're coming out to say, even the Alafin of Oyo just said something this afternoon about insecurity. The Oni of Ife went to visit the president on Friday about insecurity. Are these men liars? So I will take these men and the opinions over that of the man we have in Abuja that calls himself the special assistant on media or wherever. His opinion doesn't make sense. As it stands now, the insecurity situation under Buhari has worsened, and I've given you a chronology of time. So he is lying, and it's sad and it is shameful that people have lost their lives. It's sad. These are not just numbers. These are human beings, all right? And he's not saying anything to the president. He's not advising. He's not saying anything. He's not being empathetic. And he's denying the obvious. It doesn't make sense. And it's sad. And it's disappointing, to say the least.
Some Nigerians, you highlighted Obasanjo, Soyinka, and some other persons have said that there is need for us to have, even the National Assembly has suggested that we should have like a security summit, like a conference to discuss the security situation in the country and chart a way forward. That question was put to Mr. Shehu because he's the subject of our conversation today. And he's saying to call for a national, I'm quoting him now,
Right.
to call for a national conference when there is a sitting parliament in place, whoever is making that call is not a Democrat, end of quote. What is your take?
Actually, I'm not in support of any national dialogue because we've had several ones in the past, and after the sitting, the next thing is to dump their report. So wasting of money, funds, all those things, I'm not in support. Security summit, yes, it's good, it's fine. But what comes out after what's next after the summit? We speak English, we come out with our dictionary, we write whatever we like, and we leave, and that is the end. No. We know the problems we have in respect of this insecurity. We know the factors that are responsible for the insecurity. Tackle them. The governors that are collecting security votes for their own private personally, let them use the money to secure their state. Whether they like it or not, they are the chief security officer of their state. They collect security votes. Whatever you need to do in order to secure the lives of the people you are governing, do it. Use the money for the people and not for yourself.
Okay, there's this worry that I'll take a question to you, Gochiko. The person who should know about the security situation in this country, that's the Army Chief, Tukur Buratai. He was recently quoted as saying that security agencies have recorded great success in the fight against insurgency and insecurity. He describes the cries of insecurity across Nigeria as, in quote, a political game. When the man who should know the situation better says we're all imagining things, you know, on the one hand, we're talking about Garba Shehu. He's a spokesman for the presidency. You could say maybe he doesn't quite know everything he's talking about. But this time, the man who is at the helm of affairs securing this country sees the security situation as a political game. If
Buratai still has any sense of decency in him, he should retire at this point. Right? You have soldiers dying every day in the northeast, in the northwest, and you come here to just say things, all right? What would you think their family will say? He just lost soldiers. We lost close to 20-something soldiers last week. Are we at war? See, on a single day, I don't think America lost that when they were in Afghanistan in a single day. So if Buratai is coming, and this is someone that calls himself a snake farmer that has properties in Dubai, is it the same money that they paid him in Abuja that from the military headquarters that he used to buy all these properties? So for me, he's not to be trusted. He has not proven himself worthy. All right? And you are losing soldiers every day. I just said we could go back. I could go back over the last 4 years. The number of soldiers that we've lost every day. All right. Even so, few months back, we saw the video of soldiers that were executed.
Just to connect our conversation. Shehu Garba, we talked about. You said he doesn't know what he's talking about to a large extent, but he works with information being fed to him probably by these people that are security experts, and that same people are the ones feeding the presidency information. So if the presidency is saying that the security situation is not as bad as we are claiming it, where do we go from there?
See, the people that, I said it earlier, right? Maybe we missed it. The people that are working for the presidency are not claiming the truth, right? If Buratai is saying to himself that the security situation is fair, it's a lie. Buratai, a few weeks back, your soldiers were executed on live camera by this fundamentalist, all right? And last week, you just lost close to 20-something soldiers. So is Buratai now telling us that he knows what he's doing? If you know what you are doing, nobody should be executing your soldiers on live camera for everybody to see and post on the internet. It does not make sense. If Buratai knows what he's doing, terrorists, all right, criminals, bandits should not be parading our highway. They shouldn't have killed Professor Auntie daughter. They shouldn't have kidnapped Siasia mom. Should I continue? All right. So it does not make sense. Buratai is not speaking as a soldier. He's speaking as a political appointee, because as a soldier, he knows, and we all know, that at this point, he has failed to do his job. And that is the honest truth. And nobody can deny that, not even himself. If he goes back to his house and look at his mirror, his mirror will confirm what I'm saying. He might deny it himself.
Before we wrap up, I want to talk to you, Shola, quickly. A Premium Times analysis of recent security situation for June showed that no fewer than 353 persons were killed in violent attacks across Nigeria just in June. And in that same month, about 60 other persons were kidnapped across Nigeria. He's saying that among last month's victims were 57 soldiers in attacks by Boko Haram insurgents in Borno State. If you were to give one word to the presidency on the security situation in response to everything that Garba Shehu said, what would that be?
Well, just one word is just to tell him he has failed. He has failed.
Advice?
Advice is number one, to retire all the chiefs in that cycle. Chief of army should go. Well, the IG, well, I can say the IG because more or less like he's new. I want to believe maybe he's still studying one or two things, despite the fact that he has been in the system for a very long time. Let him change all the security chiefs.
Your quick thought, one word to the presidency.
Capital letter failed.
Solution.
First of all, fire Buratai. Start with him.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on serious national issues today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll take a short break rather for comments on what Nigerians are saying concerning the Shiites protest. And when we return, I'll be giving you my take on the subject. Do stay with us. A senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, just last week warned the federal government against its violent approach to handling members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria who have increased the frequency of their protest, demanding the release of their leader, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, who has been in detention despite numerous court orders issued for his release. It is my considered opinion that the federal government mocks the tenets of democracy with a continued disobedience of court orders. The argument that setting El-Zakzaky free will reinvigorate his followers into causing more public unrest is questionable at best, because there are other ways to check the activities of a religious sect that is running wide without having to jail its leader. This does not in any way excuse the conduct of the Shiites who are taking laws into their hands, destroying properties and disrupting public peace. This recourse to violence stands condemned. That said, no one, not even the federal government, should be above the law in a democratic dispensation. The continued incarceration of El-Zakzaky and similar other cases like the one involving the former National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki, are a serious minus to the human rights record of the Buhari's government. That's all for tonight. Thank you for staying with us. See you tomorrow, same time. Have a great night.